this
That
internet.
means you could go live. You should be able to go live on
Oh, we're live. We're already going live.
I'm talking about on like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You could go live from
Yeah,
that.
so I thought I had the right account. I just got to upgrade it. We'll do it tomorrow. I just got to upgrade my account so I can make sure that we're live
I want to see how much it
everywhere
costs
simultaneously.
so I could put it on my so I could put it on my to-do list too, because I'm gonna start going live.
No, it's definitely worth it. And I probably got to stop smoking so that way we don't get censored for our Japanese viewers. But welcome to it. It's the Make a Move show. The live editions, we're still getting used to the technical side of all this, but it's fun to be able to just chill out
Yeah.
and
Make a
speak
move.
straight. Yeah, I actually prefer it when we don't, uh, even though I'm the producer and all, uh, I don't like overproducing an idea. So it's just nice to just speak on what's going on right here, right now. But speaking of which, let's just kick it off because about once a week I watch a couple hours of TV. And I mean TV, broadcast, screen, because me and my boy, we go out after the work week. It's the Sabbath. I go to the bar, have a few drinks, catch up. So I'm
Right.
doing that last night. And bars in America, they're just TVs everywhere. I actually don't like it. I don't like it when there are TVs in an establishment. If it's a sports bar, that's one thing, but every single bar these days has a flat screen and it's just blasting whatever, some random Netflix show or sports. And I don't watch sports, so maybe that's why I don't care about it.
Right.
I'm sitting there watching. I think it's the Knicks game, right? So Knicks show up to lose, like always, and there's a commercial break, and it's images of grown men. I'm talking 60 plus, crying. A bunch of guys on an airplane crying, and I'm like, "What is this?" So it's one man after another: black guy, white guy, Asian guy, this guy, that guy. All of them are crying, and then I think
What
the
kind of freaking commercial is this?
it was United Airlines. I think it was United commercial. And then they're crying because they're watching the reveal is that they're crying because they're watching
My bad,
a
my
sea
bad.
turtle,
A what?
a sea turtle, like a baby sea turtle just walking on a beach. So one, I'm already bothered by these images, and I'm just like, what are they trying to communicate here? Because this isn't a regular occurrence. If I saw this many men crying in any one place, I'd be concerned. I'd feel like my life was in danger. And I know that's not the case. So I know this is all right. This is part of an image that they want to put out that you can be a man and you can cry. And then on top of that, they reveal it as these guys are just crying because they saw something beautiful, something so majestic that it humbled them and made them want to cry. But even the reveal isn't worth it. And again, I'm watching this on mute, so I don't know exactly what they're saying. I cannot justify it any other way though, because regardless of the context, I don't know why people are so fascinated in promoting this idea that men need to cry and they need to cry publicly, otherwise they're going to hurt themselves.
Wow. Um,
You're bigger into sports. I figured you would have seen this already.
I be watching so much sports, man. As soon as the commercial go on, I just flip it to another channel. The thing about it is, I'm actually got sports in the background now. The thing about it is, my father used to say this, man. It's television. It's supposed to tell you your vision.
Mm,
That was his little joke, as in like, if you don't think for yourself, it's gonna tell you what to think and how to feel and how to move, right?
absolutely.
So that's part of my whole. Hey, get out the matrix. See what they're trying to tell you for what reason. And we already know they've been trying to pussify. I'm gonna say pussify. Can I say that on there? That's my word.
It's our show. We
Pussify.
can say whatever we want.
The pussification of the American man. And this has been a 30-year, I want to say 30-year push. I'm 35, 30-year push, right? And it's easy for me to ignore because I already know the agenda behind it.
Yeah.
You want men more emotional and I don't get that. I only cry at uh, funerals and championships. Now, if it was a commercial of men crying because the Knicks won the championship, then I get it. I get it. Every Knicks fan gonna cry if they win the championship. Trust me.
I
That's the
don't
only
even think
time you're
so.
supposed to cry. When you only supposed to cry when your team win a championship, or you at your loved one's funeral. Everything else, I don't know about a sea turtle and stuff like that. I ain't cry about all that.
My leg is that people just don't understand the way emotions work. Like we live in such a shallow time that people think that if you're sad, you have to cry. Like, that's the only way you can express sadness. If you're
That's
mad,
great.
you have to break something. That's the only way you can express anger. And it's one thing after another, and all of this is completely false. And we know that it's false because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to cry when you see something sad.
See,
You
but
have so many different options. You're going to do one of the many.
the way you process sadness is, I think I sent you a video, but he said he articulates it way better. But I always say sadness comes and goes. You never
Mhm.
you never supposed to be too happy. You're never supposed to be too sad. It's a balance. You're sad. For example, my team loses. I'm sad. We'll get them again next week, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes we're just sad because some shit is just beyond our control. So we sad about that. And once you get over that and be like, hey, focus on what you can control and what you could do right now, you won't be sad. You just start focusing on something else. And I learned that from fighting, doing boxing and playing football. Okay, you did bad this play. You could beat yourself up about it, but you still got to go out. You got a next play to do. You got a next fight to fight. You got to
Yeah.
get over that. And if you can't conquer your sadness, it will conquer you and it will just become a part of who you are. And you don't get any cool points for that. You don't get any validation. You don't move up into manhood with that stuff. Certain shit is just for women. And that was one of those things. They have the luxury of I would say they have the luxury of being overly emotional and stuff. But even that shit can really, really, really wear anybody's down. Even the most pro emotional person, it will wear them down. You notice the people who are always asking for the emotions, once they get them, they don't want them.
No, absolutely. And for me, it's not even a gender thing. It's just this. They paint it as a broad brush on men, but it also applies to women. Like as a woman, as an adult anyway, I expect women not to cry just because. I mean, it's one thing maybe if you're in the safety of your home, I know that it's going to happen. But I mean, as a general response to a challenge, tears aren't legitimate. There are a lot of people that will treat women differently because they cry, and that's one of the reasons why they cry so often is to get that manipulative effect where it's like, oh, I got pulled over, but if I cry, I'm not going to get a ticket. I'm in a fight with my boyfriend, but if I cry, he's going to be less easy or less harsh on me. And it's things that these girls learn as soon as they're 5 years old dealing with their fathers. And no one corrects them on it for the rest of their life, unless they come up from a family where it's like, hey, you have to find a way to work with your emotions, not against them. And I think that's what, or not to weaponize them, I should say. And that's what I'm seeing is that one, we talk about emotions in a very shallow way. Like I teach this, I wrote a book about emotions. I No human being can avoid their emotions, but it's not the emotions that dictate how you're going to behave. It's your mindset saying, all right, now that I'm feeling this, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, meaning I'm going to act, not react. And that's where we are. And again, it's painted as a broad brush for men exclusively, but this applies to women. And the fact that we separate it as a gender topic makes it even more confusing to recognize that this is a slippery slope, and we're just getting weaker and weaker as we adopt this. it's one of those things that when I was watching it, I'm laughing at it,
And you know what?
but it
And
is kind of tragic.
it's kind of tragic. And what I've been noticing too when I'm doing these consultations with young men.
Mm.
I still do the consultation, and I'll plug myself in there later. But if you want a consultation, Alphacology 1K. What I notice is I listen to them, and I always ask them, "What's your daily routine? What's your goals?" And it's really a simple fix. I always tell men this: you ain't got no time to be sitting back figuring out and working through what they want you to. You don't have any time to sit there and figure out what this society wants you to do. You got goals, you work at them damn goals and you reach them. I always say that. Like, you obviously we're all right. So you were just at a bar and you just took notice of something. Because
Mhm.
it's like once your eyes are open, they can't be closed anymore. So I get why you watch the commercials and stuff that's keeping the loop. But it's really simple. I remember telling a young man, I said, "Hey man, you gotta put your phone down. You gotta turn off social media.
Yeah.
A lot of your problems is stemming from that." And I
Yeah.
done did that before. I had to practice what I preach. If I feel like, okay, I'm in a whirlwind or I'm feeling a certain way, it's because I read something online. Like, how can people be so stupid and you be so upset? But it's like, wait a minute, this is how I make my money. This was gonna make me a better man. Not leaving comments, not liking pictures, not following a certain group of people online. We have to figure that out. Like,
No, absolutely.
yeah. So you got to carry a different energy, and people will respect that for you. I love when I still keep my head to the ground because that's where my farming area is. We don't have a radio contract. We don't have a TV contract. So
Mhm.
this is the best media we could get where we could get our own voices out there. So that's what I do. And I want my voice to be authentic. I don't want it to be a copy of what I done heard on social media or what's popular or what's trending. Like, we could talk about um the Dwight Howard situation and him, hey, I don't care about that. It ain't a big deal to me. If that's what that man want to do, that's what he want to do. But guess what? Let's bring it back to, how are you going to be the most alpha male version of yourself? How are you going to uphold manhood? It ain't nothing. We could just use it as a pure example of this man he didn't do anything to uphold his manhood at all.
No. We talked about this before. We used Johnny Depp as an example. But absolutely, he was making a lot of bad choices.
Yeah. So, not gonna hold a man for making bad choices, but hey, the first time you do it, that's a bad choice. After that, it's like that's who you are. So I don't know if that's his first time, second time, third time. Some people telling me he been like
Exactly.
that. Some people telling me that's not his first time getting into legal battles with uh people he's dating. I'm gonna say people, right?
Yeah.
So he does a horrible job at picking whoever he picking, and considering that, uh if you play in both sides of the ball, that's what I'm saying. This really ain't for you. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
This
No,
really,
I know it loud and clear. And it goes back to what you were talking about. You got I think you were talking about different guys that you help, and you're like, all right, let's start with the social media. Let's be mindful of what you're putting into your mind, into your psyche, because that's going to affect what comes out. And in this case, it also applies to your relationships. So the people that you're spending time with are going to affect your mindset, the way that you act, the way that you behave. And it's clear. I'm of the opinion that, one, I want everyone to curate who they follow. I don't follow a lot of people on social media. If I know you in person, I'll follow you. If I don't, chances are, nah, unless we're doing business together, no matter what app you see me, if I follow someone, it's because I know them personally. It's actually, I won't get too into it, but it's someone that I've done business with, I've shaken hands with, I've broke bread with. Other than that, I'm not interested in you because I can't trust your character. Because what you show me on the screen ain't real. But anyway, with Dwight Howard's situation, it's that same thing. And this is a choice at this point. He's not a victim. I don't know if allegations are true or false. I lean towards they're most likely false. This happens all the time. It doesn't matter whether you're gay or not. People are going to say that they didn't. They've done it with me. And I'm sure.
Yeah, they did. I've been lied on plenty of times. As a man,
exactly.
If you're doing what you need to be doing, people gonna hate. Two things people gonna do: hate on you and lie on you.
Exactly. So it's part of the game. You charge it to the gold card. What's interesting is happening to a lot of famous people. I've been talking about this for years. I think every man needs to become more aware of what's happening in these court cases. It's not just celebrity figures. They're going after celebrity figures to scare the general populace of men to say, hey, don't be like these guys. And then you
they tried to do that with what's that actor
every
name?
single guy. All right, let's see. Let's go down the line.
What's the actor? It was an actor. He played Kane the Conqueror. Forgot his name.
What's his name? Mr. Majors? Maybe Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan Majors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
he lost all his endorsements, and that girl was lying. But guess what? They still threw him in jail. They still took her word for it.
Exactly. That's the way the game is played.
One thing you need to know in this society, it's very rare, especially if you're a black man like me. It's very rare you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. They'd rather throw you in jail and figure out you're innocent later. But this is from my personal experience. They'd rather throw you in jail and you prove your innocence. You're actually guilty.
Absolutely. Exactly. They tell you otherwise, that you're innocent and then you're proven guilty, but that's not the way the system works. That's not the way any man-made legal system has ever worked. Right. And the idea is that in a lawful court, you would be judged by God. The incident would be taken into account on an objective level because they're in the search of truth. But our American-made system, our Western system of legality, doesn't exist to find truth. It just exists to incriminate people on behalf of the state, because the state needs to be seen as, about crime and punishment. It has to be upholding this crime and punishment philosophy. So if you are an enemy of the state, even if it's just an allegation, they have to make an example of you. So if you know that, most people don't know what I just said, and it's a shame because they see it, but they don't know how to put it into words like I just did. But if you see things playing out, which is part of the plan, but it works in one of two ways. So right now they want people to be afraid.
Well, she got a warrant for her arrest too, by the way, for lying.
Don't care,
but the damage was like you said, the damage was already done. He lost endorsement deals and everything.
Exactly. I didn't even know that side of it, but it was likely. So I'm not surprised. We'll see what happens over the next years because he has a big contract deal with Disney and all that.
And I used to be, and I'm telling you now, I used to be a big proponent of men. Like, man, women can't affect your life. I was a big proponent of that. That is a lie. The woman you decide to deal with could put a real wrench in your plan. So you have to vet them properly. Like we got the four, what is it? 4 F's?
Oh yeah, my 5 F's.
Right. Absolutely. So you have to vet them properly. You have to be very selective who you share your energy with. Mm-hmm. And trust me, that's what I was going to talk about tomorrow a little bit. It was going to be a podcast called "The Mistakes Were Already Made for You."
Oh, absolutely.
So when I'm sitting up here telling you, you can't. You have to. It's easier for us nowadays to vet women because half of the vetting, you could just you got an Instagram. All right, that's already a strike against you. Then you go on her Instagram and you can see everything she's about.
Yeah.
And guess what? Everything, and I always tell a man this, all the signs were there. You just didn't see them because you wasn't thinking. You was thinking with the small head a little bit too much. I done did that too. Oh man, I can't believe she did me like that. Then I had to go back and say, wow. I went through her media, went through her comments online and said, wow, she definitely would have did me like that. Why didn't I see that in the first place?
Exactly. You know
It's
what?
it's there. We have the cheat sheet right there. Now, it's some women out there. I always say that's a great thing. That's a plus. Okay, you're not that active on social media. Cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a way women meet men now. Social media, this, that, the third. But you're not that active, or you don't have social media. That's always a plus for me, right?
Right.
And then if she does have it, I go and see what she talks about. See if she bashes her ex. Cause guess what? If she bashes her ex, you're next. It's just that simple, right?
It really
So
is. It really is. People wear their hearts on their sleeves. Their character is
yeah,
right there in the open. The reason you break up is because of something you did on the first date, most likely, or didn't do, in most cases. So you end as you begin.
right. So at this point in the game, the mistakes are already made for you. So I tell men, you have to protect certain parts of your life because it was certain parts of my life that I didn't care if a woman knew or didn't know about me. But
Mm.
since they knew it about me, they tried to weaponize it against me. That's every time a woman tries to weaponize something against me, guess what happens?
Nothing. It
Oh
weaponizes against them.
yeah, now you're out of here. Right? But I stopped dealing with those type of women um who for some odd reason gets the idea they're gonna dominate the life I live or put a wrench in what I got going on because at the end of the day, they will do that to get even or because they can't put it like this: women can't beat your ass, right?
No, they
But
cannot.
they damn sure could try to fuck your life up, and they use it two ways. They try to do that: social media, society wise, social media, or through the law. If a
Yeah,
young
they
lady put
find a
it like
bigger opponent than
this,
you.
what you don't understand. Like it's plenty of stories out there, and I never shared this story with no anybody before. This was, and it still didn't dawn on me how deep this was and how much trouble I could have got in. A young lady one day came to my house. She was already beat up, bro.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, get like stopped talking and all of this. Already beat up. Oh, I'm gonna call the police and tell them you scratched me and you did this. Cause she was fighting a girl that I was dealing with. I shouldn't have been dealing with either one of them. Right. So
Mhm.
I was kind of like in a situation where I was stuck. But I called, my homeboy. I called another young lady over there just so we could all just like, oh, we gonna chill, go out. And then I told her, hey, get in the car with such and such. And I was like, drive her home. Don't bring her back to my house. Right?
Mhm.
But what's kind of scared me straight was when she said, I'm just gonna call the police on you and tell them you did this to me. That's what she said. And I said, no. I said the other girl's name. I said, such and such did that to you. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell them you did it and you're gonna go to jail. And I'm like, yo, this is not for real. But guess what?
Guess what? What's up?
I could have really went to jail that night, bro.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware. And I'm pretty sure that this is a story that you told me before, so I'm just staying quiet to let you tell.
I didn't know. No, I had other stories too. I just gonna leave them. But it's just like you could be in these situations where, hey, yeah, what I just say, you're gonna go to jail, right? It's a
Mhm.
big inconvenience in your life. You're gonna have to prove your innocence and all that. But guess what I should have did?
What's up?
Should have never messed with the girl in the first place.
Oh, absolutely.
Should have never messed with the girl in the first place.
Yeah.
And I always tell young men that I say you want to be in a situation where you dealing with a chick and you gotta cut her off and she turned crazy.
But
You gotta almost how can I put it? Push her away. But that's a topic for another day. Um, we do as men, we do have to walk around like we're worth $8 billion and we're top secret and highly whatever. And I always say that ego will save your life. Excuse me. Ego will save your life.
go on. What do you mean?
If I had more of an ego and cared more about myself and the image I was trying to uphold, I would have never dealt with that woman. Excuse me. I've been going through it, but
No, I
it's
like
kind
that.
of like,
That makes perfect sense to me.
yeah, it's kind of like I see this beautiful girl, and she's saying everything right, and
Yep.
she got the body, the face that I like, and everything. And she tells me she's a stripper. Now
Mhm.
the young me, I'm taking that down. Now that I'm older, I'm like, not finna deal with you like that. I can't be caught with you.
Yep.
I don't even want you to know where I live. I don't want you to know what kind of assets I got, what I got going on in my life. Just forget it. I might not even give you my real name.
I haven't given anyone my real name in years
Right.
for that same reason.
Right. So I don't want you to slander me or because it's been times too where people just straight up lied on me. It's been online too. That my house was about to get foreclosed on. I lived in my dad's basement. I didn't know it was basements in Florida. But that's me. Right? So
No, I know the stories. Yep.
yeah, crazy stories.
It's funny, all the people, and it's not just the men, but all the people that are doing the work that we're doing, it's the same story. It's the same insults. It's the same script. That's why I don't believe them. In fact, the only time I believe it is when they don't follow the script, and I'm like, oh, this is new. This might actually be real.
That's true.
Yep.
So you're in a situation where they're telling you, oh, he was this or he did this, and it's just like, oh man, we done heard that before. It's hard to it's always a story that can be true, but don't know if it's true because it's hard to prove, and it's like that. And nobody wants to admit that we get the benefit of the doubt. Like they don't want to give us the benefit of the doubt. So it's just something I don't know if it's the human brain loves even with the Dwight Howard situation. Everybody was like, I'm like, I'm gonna wait till the facts come out. And some of
Oh,
us
I'm not waiting
was.
for anything. I just don't care either way.
Yeah,
Got
I
my
don't care
money.
either
Got my
way.
circus.
But a lot of people are attracted to drama and negative energy like that.
That's why I'm actually surprised that people aren't playing with this topic. Maybe you have an inside ear, but I don't hear the talk like I would expect it to. Because one, this is him coming out of the closet, and then two, there's a sexual assault charge going along with it. So I presume that people that were into the NBA, people that cared about that particular team, fill in the blanks for me because I'm speaking very vaguely right now. But anyway, I'm surprised the fans aren't talking. I understand why the news isn't talking because there isn't anything to talk about. But of all the controversial stories that were similar that came out this year, this falls right in line with it, and no one seems to care. So
Well,
that
one he's retired. I
Okay.
heard a couple fans like they said stuff like, "Man, that's why Kobe Bryant didn't like it." You know, he used to play with Kobe Bryant too, and him and Kobe didn't like each other. Kobe didn't like him. Said he was
Okay.
soft. He was like, "That's why Kobe didn't like his ass." and it's right now, bro. It's not gonna be like, "Oh my God," it ain't. It's just gonna have some great. It just makes content for great jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody was really like. He came out of the closet. He said what he said, and that was it. That was it. I mean, I didn't heard stories about him before, him and
Yeah.
a couple other basketball players, but hey, man, I don't look up to those guys. They don't help me make no money. That's not my circle.
Certainly not. I
And
know it's going to be something that we're going to talk a lot, though,
yeah,
because
so
again, it's one man after another, and this is a case in the gay context, but essentially the bigger picture is that they're taking celebrity men, putting all their public life with the women that they date or their wives, whatever the case may be, putting it out on blast, being like, if you behave like this, you will be ruined. We will socially ruin you, and we will financially. So these are the examples. If you do it with celebrities first, when it happens to well, first off, it'll scare 90% of people. It'll scare 90% of men to not act like men.
okay, so now I'm going back to the Jonathan Majors, right?
Okay, cool.
And I remember a woman saying, maybe if he wasn't texting other women or talking to other women.
See what I mean? And who's listening to those conversations? It's men that don't know better.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, if I don't do that, I'm going to get that girl's attention. My crush will finally like me because I'm not like the guys.
Or better yet, if you're in a relationship, you're like, I better not do that, or this girl might try to ruin my life.
That too. It works on so many different levels.
It works on so many different levels, but
it's not based on facts.
Yeah. So it's not based on facts. So you always have to have what I call an escape plan, a backup plan for when shit goes left. And one thing I have learned, you gotta attack your dreams, your goals. You gotta protect your name, like Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know if you ever heard Michael Irvin with the big time lawsuit, right?
Michael Irvin. No, I'm not.
Google it. Michael Irvin. He's a Hall of Fame football player. He used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. A young lady said he sexually assaulted her, like felt up on her boobs or her breast while she was at work. It was a waitress or a bartender or something. Mm-hmm. And he lost, like instantly, he lost his job with Fox Sports, Fox Sports, or whoever he was with, or NFL.com.
I see.
And it lasted for about 2 weeks, but they pulled the tapes, and all he did was speak to the woman, say, hey, and walked off. And the woman actually followed him, and he was like, he spoke to her, and he walked off. He never touched her. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm not the least bit surprised. Or
he sued him.
Yeah, I know the script. I've seen it play out. It's the same way that I teach people how not to get in those situations.
My grandmother told me that. He said a lie will always travel faster than the truth. That's why you shouldn't be around liars.
Yeah, it's so preventable. I mean, it's gonna happen.
It's very preventable. But you know, I hate to say this, and we're going to do a whole podcast. You have to walk outside. You have to hit that door every day like the whole world is against you. And that's fine by me because
absolutely. It's not even a pretending thing. It just is.
Yeah, I walk out of here every day like the whole world against me. Anybody could turn on me at any point, especially.
Actually, I love that. I don't know. It puts a smile on my face knowing that that's the case. Like I actually
Anybody,
leave the house.
anybody could turn on me at any point, so can't let nobody get too close. But I know who has intentions and who don't, because I could tell a man what's his intentions by what he does every day. What's his goals? You can't talk to me about your goals, your intentions, what you got going on. Then yeah, the less you got going on, the less I could trust you.
Yep.
So, like, I got good friends like you know, Kanye, great friends. I might not even talk to y'all every day. But as soon as I pick up, I know you gonna be working on something. I know he gonna be working on something.
Yeah.
I know what he stand for. He consistent with what he does. I know what you stand for. You're very consistent in what you do. So you're not all over the place, and it's easy to do that. All right. So we have to attack the world before it attacks us. You have to make women prove their loyalty. You have to make them put in work to be around you. She has to be your biggest cheerleader. You can't be her biggest cheerleader. She got to be your biggest fan. She got to be your biggest supporter. Whatever you got going on, she all in. She wants to see you succeed. You got to be around guys that want to see you succeed and want to bring. If they going to the top, they want to bring you with them. You going to the top, you want to bring them with you because you know you got somebody who watches six, and that's how you got to go. Everybody can't go with you. Everybody can't climb that mountain with you. Everybody can't do this journey, but it's an adventure, and I find it entertaining. I really do.
No, absolutely.
I get better and better at this shit every day. I'm getting better at reading body languages. I'm getting better at reading people in general. I'm just getting better at it.
It's the premise of the show. What's interesting is that I find that when you live the life that you and I do, it makes it hard to relate to the average person. And I mean, just because your mind is moving faster, you're physically moving faster, so you can't slow down enough to appreciate the things that they care about, and vice versa. They can't move their pace fast enough to catch up with us. What's interesting is that I also find it might be different for you, but with me, it's definitely I have a lower tolerance for all the bullshit, to the point where I'm easily bored by the things people say and do, regardless of the topic. It's just the things that people preoccupy
and
themselves.
that's beautiful.
Where do you find the time?
You're not leaving yourself vulnerable to the world, and you enjoy your solitude, right? Solitude is very important when it comes to protecting yourself from the world. Sometimes you got to sit back and be alone and observe everybody.
That's me 24/7. I can't do all the moves that you see me doing aren't possible if I were paying attention. If I weren't paying attention.
Because my thing is to come in and dominate any environment, change any environment for my advantage. Or how can I use this environment? How can I use these people to my advantage? Right? Because I honestly believe my leadership skills and me being on top is better for everybody than me being on the bottom. Right? So I always make these moves for me, but I know it's going to benefit a lot of people who care about me and people who I care about. So I always look at it like that. That's how a man should look. Like, I got people depending on me.
Well, you always do. Yeah.
Yeah. I got people depending on me. I gotta keep my podcast going. I gotta make sure I stay away from the haters, and I gotta make sure I stay away from the cops. I gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying? All of that. I gotta make sure I don't say too much or people don't know where I hate that. And nobody should know where I'm at. Like, remember we did a whole podcast. Well, I did a whole podcast.
Yep. We both did.
About a rapper and his girlfriend posted his location and they pulled up and killed him, right? Yeah. Nobody should be knowing what you did on the weekend. You know how many times I put, just to see who's watching me, I'll put an old video of me hanging out somewhere at a random bar, and they'll be like, "Oh, you went to the bar this weekend? That's what you did?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like, the whole time I was at home and I went to church and I went to the gym the whole weekend.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't played that move yet, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
sometimes I'll
play
post things
moves
in the
like
past.
that. So okay, you're watching. So let me go ahead and mute you, block you, whatever I need to do, or just keep you there, so I can
Yeah, just
have
take a mental note.
yeah. So, but I like to have pause, like, oh, y'all seen such as oh, I ain't seen him. Like it looked like he was here. It looked like I let people think they know. I'm good at playing dumb, and I let people think they know everything because once they feel like they know you, then you get to see their real hand. You get, and sometimes when they feel like they know you and they show their real hand, it's actually a genuine hand. And oh, I could deal with this person right here. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
yeah. See?
And then some people think they know you, and boom, you realize you don't have no support from them, or that might be your biggest enemy. I done seen it too many times. People try to shame me for something they would be ashamed of. I'm like, I'm not even ashamed of
Yeah,
that.
it's always interesting because you hear them say what they want to say, usually in an insulting way, and you don't react the way that you're supposed to. The script that they had in their mind is not the script that you're playing.
Yeah, and it
They don't
pisses
know how
them
to
off
respond
because,
after that.
for
They're like, "Oh,
example,
I called you that bad word. You're supposed to be upset. I
yeah,
called
like,
you."
oh, you had a failed marriage, you got a divorce. So what you do? I said, I'm glad I right, and then and I responded to her.
And
I'm glad I got out of that marriage right on time. I'm so happy. I'm happy we didn't stay any longer.
well, your
Right.
story is different from most people because most people, when they have a failed marriage, it's because they're the one that fucked up,
Yeah.
and very few men leave a problematic
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. So when
It's
they
the other way
find out
around.
I'm the one who left the marriage, they're looking at her like, what did she do wrong? And on record, I always said I could treat all my exes better. I could have been more mature and treated my ex-wife better, right?
Okay.
But I don't think, and I'm telling them, and I tell people this all the time. I say I wasn't ready to be married, and
Mm,
if she's gonna be honest, she wasn't either.
okay.
Like if she, but guess what? I wasn't ready to be married. It wasn't my time to be married, so I had to do what I had to do. Right?
Okay.
I don't blame it on the woman. It's I don't want. I don't even like women thinking I had bad relationships. I just be like, hey, I could have been a better man to her. She was great to me
Yeah.
because I like to keep the bar high.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
If you don't keep that bar
I'm
high, bro,
surprised more people don't do that. I
yeah.
mean, I'm that way with everybody. I don't understand why
And I
people
learned
brag.
this, and I learned this the hard way. Like I said, fellas, the mistakes were already made for you. Stop talking bad about your exes to the new girl, because now the new girl doesn't think she has to do much to
The
get.
question I got
To
is,
get
how
in.
do you even find time to talk about your new girl, your old girl, when you're
But
with
they
your new
do it.
girl? Where do you find the time and energy? How does that naturally come up in conversation? The only time that comes up in conversation is if you're so boring that she's trying to make conversation, so she's talking about your past. But I've never been on a date, never been in a relationship where I had to talk about my
Oh
past,
yeah, you never.
and I never will.
I like to just see what they say. Like I might, hey, why you single? And I do that a lot, just to see what they say, and if they go in too deep about the ex, I know it's a dub. If they just like, you know what, it ain't work out, everything was fine, and then something just bad went happen. He did something I didn't like, and I left. But it's just like, oh my God, I still remember that day, October the 15th, and he walked in, he was in there, he was wearing his black shorts, and he was with another girl, and then we like I ain't did dog, no. Like I done had that. I done heard some very vivid details of what like
Yeah, they won't hold back. There's no discretion. So it can be great to ask people about their past, but me myself, nah,
yeah, yeah. It just depends on what kind of how the conversation flows. Now,
it
now
is.
with me, I like to see what you willing to do and what you not willing to do. I like to figure out how much you like me, how much you don't.
Mhm.
Right. So I know what category. But lately I've been only talking to women who super interested in me. So now I got past
That's the
that
only
part.
way to do it.
Right. So
Wait,
now,
so I was under the impression that you were already doing that.
yeah, but
When did this change?
no, I always lately, yeah, I'm super interested. Like I always did that. Matter of fact, I always did that. But
Okay, cool.
it's just the fact that I just put that out there so the brothers can hear it. Only date women that are interested in you. The conversation is better. It'll move on smoother, and you'll learn what you need to learn. Right.
Absolutely.
My
Every
thing
day I'm having
is,
these
my
conversations.
thing, a woman is super interested. My thing now, what I've been fighting through lately, is a woman that's super interested in me, and I get her representative. I don't get the real her. I only get, the good behavior one.
Mhm.
And I could sit up there and say, my past few relationships, I had a girl on her best behavior, but that really wasn't her. You get what I'm saying?
I've heard that story before. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. So, and that's fine. And that's totally fine, right? But you still have to have a foolproof escape plan. You still have to look at those signs. So that's what I've been working on, like, taking notes on how I can tell guys, like, once you get in that situation and you want to get out of that situation with that young lady, it's a certain way you need to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And hold on, let me get my water. It's a certain way you need to do it. I know how to do it naturally. What's hard for me is articulating it and putting it on paper so you guys could, so my supporters could hear it and know what to do. Because we all done had that one crazy chick, like, this chick crazy. Why you don't just break up with her? This chick crazy. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And you want to be in a situation where a girl got beat up or beat herself up, and she's saying, "You better take me back, or I'm gonna tell the police." You don't want to be in that situation, fellas. You don't want to be in that situation.
Not at all. Not at all.
So
Oof.
you want to be in a situation where a girl, she likes you. She's gonna be there, support you, and be on your whatever you on. She's gonna help do that with you and everything. That's the type of woman you want.
And the lady is most likely going to be the one that's attracted to you. Every day I get people that are trying to ask me for. So one, I don't teach about dating. I don't teach men how to date. That's not my world. That's not my ministry. Um, I lack the patience for that kind of work. So I commend you for being able to do
Why?
it.
Why, man? Why?
Why what?
Why you on? I always want to
Oh,
ask
like I
you
said, I
why.
lack the
You sound
patience.
like
Oh no, I'll give it to you. I lack the patience because the conversations. So I did it once for a year, and the conversations I all ended up with the fact that they didn't have the right mindset for dating. So either they were someone that wanted a serious relationship, but they were acting like a fuckboy, and they weren't self-aware enough to realize that if I act like a fuckboy, I'm not going to get the marriage, and or vice versa. And it's one of those things where one, the men weren't aware of themselves, and that's what led me to the whole take charge movement, because I realized it wasn't that these men they're charming, they're smart, they're funny, they have what do you call it, stability, they have their car, their house, they have ambition, they have vision, they're gonna go places. The one thing they're lacking is recognizing that the same way they got all those other things is the same dedication and commitment that they need to have in pursuing women. And one of the big aspects was that, so let's go back to what you said earlier. It wasn't, I'm going to list more than just one. They're dating women that don't want to be with them. So a lot of their questions and comments were, how do I get this girl to like me? What am I doing wrong? She doesn't like me. And it's like, brother, why are you dating someone that doesn't like you? I'm here on this phone call with you. It's because you and I have a mutual respect for one another. You wouldn't pay someone who didn't give a damn about you and ask them for feedback. So why would you one that doesn't want to spend time with you? But a lot of guys think that that's what dating is. You have to convince the woman, like Pepe Le Pew from Looney Tunes. Remember? Oh, that girl was not into him, but oh boy, it was all up in her face. And that's when you're basically a psycho. You're harassing women and trying to convince them and control them. And then you're going to end up like the men we were talking about, the Conor McGregors, the Russell Brands, the Andrew Tates. Now you're in a situation where people are going to think about, where women are going to be like, oh, this psycho keeps on harassing me. You think you're doing something genuine. I have to win her heart, but that's not the case. So I was dealing with that. What else was I dealing with? But basically, they just didn't have the mindset. I don't want to get too into it, but basically, men didn't have the mindset. So their issues didn't have to deal with being a good person. It was, I don't actually know what I want when it comes to women, and I don't understand how women operate. I'm treating them like men. I know I'm not a homosexual, so I don't want to date men, but I need to appreciate what a woman is before I can go into the world seeking them out and attracting them to me. And I recognize, unlike you, I don't have the patience to guide them through that process. But what I do have the full patience for is to teach them the necessary skills so that way they can naturally attract the women that they're attracted to. I feel comfortable doing that. But no, I'm not here to tell you what to text your girlfriend. If you don't know what to text a girl, your issues are way deeper than your text game. Because conversations with people aren't things that you have to look up. And I say this all the time. So I don't know where my brother is. He'll be back soon. Mufasa will get to the mic. But that's what it comes down to. Your mindset dictates everything. So no one can teach you how to make money. No one can teach you how to be smooth with girls. No one can teach you how to make the proper investments. No one can teach you how to do X, Y, or Z until you have a fundamental, healthy set of principles, a code that you live by, and a mission that you aim to fulfill by the time you pass. Those are things that if you have in place, then when you get the book, you get the course, you hire the coach, the consultant, whatever the case may be, you will actually move closer to your goals and accomplish them in real time in comparison to other people who don't have the principles, who don't have the mission, who don't have the code. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm a marketer. So those are the ones that I'm always mocking in my marketing, that I'm always talking about in my tweets and such, which is to say they're the people that are spinning their hamster wheel. They're doing mental gymnastics. They're coming up with excuses. They don't know exactly what they want. So they just say things that are socially acceptable to want. I want to be rich. I want six-pack abs. I want this. I want that. I bought 17 courses on all the things that I want to do, and I didn't do a single one. I still don't have any money. I still don't have any girls. I still don't have any confidence. But look at all the courses that I've bought. Look at all the books that I've read. And let me brag about all the information that I have in my head, but I have never used. That is the common state for the vast majority of people. It's not a healthy state, but it's very much a normal state for people.
Hey man, my bad. I'm back.
No, you're good. You're good.
Phone
So I'm
died,
just
bro.
yeah, that'll
So
do it.
I'm here running my mouth. I plugged in the wrong charger that doesn't work.
Damn.
And I'm like, God damn it. But it's all good though. It's
all
all
this to say, brother, and I'll wrap it up for you since you're coming back. But the reason why I don't work with anybody who wants relationship advice, I usually yield them to you or Kanye, is because I lack the patience. Because the reason you're doing poorly with girls is because you have a terrible mindset. You have a weak mindset. You don't know how to take charge. You don't know how to control your own destiny. So I would rather teach that work, because that I can do that until I'm exhausted and still be energized. And that I'm always happy to do. But what drains me, like an energy vampire, what drains me is when I got to deal with men and or women complaining about things that aren't really problems, and it's really just a sign of their own insecurities. And I'm like, hey, let's take charge, let's correct it, and then we'll get back to this topic. But you can't skip steps. You got to put your health first, and your mental health is where it all begins.
Yeah, so yeah, I do the relationship thing. I call it the player coach. You want to try to get all these girls. I stopped doing that. Where teaching men how to just get a bunch of women
Oh, you
because
stop. Wait. Whoa, this is new.
yeah, I stopped doing my last few podcasts wasn't about that. It's more moving over to more self improvement, and more just relation.
See, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. So you came to the same. All right. Are you saying that
Right,
you came to the same
right.
conclusion?
Yeah, we came to the same conclusion, but different ways. Because
Okay.
realize
That's why you're my brother. Keep going.
I turned into like, hey, I got a whole group chat. They was like, hey, what should I say to this girl? Hey, what should and
Exactly.
and I'm like, I that did work, but it's not gonna work for you because you don't live the words that I told you to say. You don't
Exactly.
have the right mindset. It's gonna backfire on you later.
Yeah.
So
And it's the same with you and me. The
yeah,
things that I say you can't pull off, and the things that you say I can't pull off. Not
right,
because we're doing it wrong, but we aren't the right person. It doesn't. It's
yeah.
mismatch.
So you be trying to get some guys. They step out of their lane and try to date women that's not in their lane.
Exactly.
Don't mean you can't find a beautiful girl that's in your lane. That's what I was trying to tell. I said all beautiful girls ain't into this extra bougie, extra materialistic shit like you see online. It's
Yeah.
very pretty women that are drop gorgeous that might be into the same shit you want, same shit.
Mhm.
So don't worry about that. Build your lane, build it up. Sometimes women are just attracted to men who know what the fuck they got going on in their life and in their lane and they're comfortable in it. Cause I've been doing that. I done dated supermodels. I done dated Miami Dolphins cheerleaders. And guess what I came and picked them up in? A Honda.
Yeah.
And girl have a time of her life. But guess what? I was myself. I was charming. I'm funny. You might not have all those characteristics, or you haven't developed those. So what worked for me might not work for you.
Absolutely. Well, because we got three different variables. We have who you are, the women you're attracted to that you want to date, and the women that are naturally attracted to you, as well as the third component, which is how you interact with them.
Yes, the interaction component. So,
All three gotta sync up, and if they
so
aren't in sync, you're not gonna connect.
doing consultations with men you never seen or just spoke to, it's like, bro, you better off. I'm better off being a life coach for you. Focus on because no matter what, we still end up on the same thing. Focusing on you, your mindset, what your daily goals and your habits.
Yeah.
And I done, and guess what I learned this from?
What's up?
From doing consultations with women. You'll be surprised how many women listen to this, listen to us, right?
Yeah.
It's the same shit with them. It's just like, oh my man, he's not doing this, and I want him to do more. And it'll be a guy like, oh my girl is. All right. I said, what's your daily routine?
I already know where this is going.
And every time she sees you, you're eating and playing the video games.
Yep.
That's a sign of counterproductivity unless you win video games. Then I had a young man who made 300K. He was a video game streamer. He was bringing in 200, 300K a year winning these video game contests. And now he's finally getting noticed by a bunch of chicks. He get one chick, then find out, and he's just like, man, what did I do? I really like her. I said, man, focus on what you need to focus on. Stop just liking it. And I know what he was going through because that was his first girl he really liked,
Yeah.
or his first, what they would call bad bitch. That was his first, so he thought he was gonna keep that.
Yeah.
You don't keep that. You have fun with that and you move on. She'll respect you more. It was hard for him to take in, but sure enough, when he acted unfazed by her antics and what she had going on, that's when she came back. And then that's when he called me back, and I was like, all right, look, I don't know if you're strong enough to do this, but don't take that bitch back. Just put her on the back burner and play with her when you feel like playing. Find you a new chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eventually he broke out of it, but I was happy I could only do so much, but a lot of guys don't have the background and come from the environment I came from. So they have to come. It's kind of like, even with you, we had to come to this same conclusion a different way.
Yeah.
Because I was helping them get girls, but I didn't want you to keep them. You
And
know?
that's my thing. I'm not interested in helping people get a relationship. That's the easiest thing in the
Yeah.
world. Children do that. If you're less competent than a second grader, you got bigger problems.
Yeah. So
But what
we
I
all
want to do is help people retain, keep the relationship going, which means you got to find a stable stable partner to have a relationship with in the first
keep
place.
the relationship going.
And you need the right mindset for that. You got to be stable first.
Yeah. So the more important part was keeping her on your, what I like to call, on your time, on your game, on your plan, right? Keeping her on your plan. She fitting the lifestyle you want to live. And that's what I like to preach on with these young men. You get, it's not a healthy relationship when all you focus on is making her happy and she ain't focused on making you happy. Right? It's not a healthy relationship, bro. It's just not.
That ain't working for me. Oh man, but that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know this. I didn't know you were doing similar work now. But I mean that's been my beef for the past couple of years, and I don't see myself ever going back. If you ever see me do relationship work, it'll be, oh man, I don't think the world is ready for my relationship work, but it'll be with a business partner who's already doing that work the way that I want to be taught. Because there are a lot of people that are basically teaching, the manosphere. You know how those kids are. The manosphere is basically 90s ideas that don't work in 2023. So don't get me wrong. You're gonna meet a girl. You're gonna have sex. You might even get a girlfriend out of it, but you won't keep her, and you won't prevent a legal catastrophe from happening later on in the relationship. And so there are all these gaps that I see in the material that these guys are putting out, and they're selling it at crazy prices these days. I remember back in the day, we could have never charged those rates, and now they are. So not only are they charging a lot, becoming millionaires, but they're doing it by giving information that doesn't work in 2023. A lot of men over the next 40 years are going to go to court. They're going to be sued. They're going to be accused of crimes they didn't commit, and they're going to lose every single time simply because their text messages, their voice notes, their pictures, and the things that they brag about on social media are a large mountain of evidence that shows them as a terrible human being that treated their girlfriend poorly.
Yeah, so
it's their fucking
that's the problem right there. Like, you're going, like, one of my favorite situations out of all of this was the Deshaun Watson situation.
All right, break down the details because I don't know what that means.
Deshaun Watson.
All right.
If you can, I can't wait to get my computer.
That's what I'm saying. I need to get multiple screens, especially for this show.
Yeah, because I'm getting my computer next week. I will be able to screen share with you, right? Because this ain't gonna work for me. I need to start pointing out I'm visual.
We need that Sports Center set up.
Deshaun Watson had like 20 some odd women file sexual harassment claims on him for giving him a massage. Like, and come to find out, these were ex-girlfriends, women he was just smashing and ghosting and all of that. 20 of them. And he got kicked off the Texans. He ended up going to the Browns, but they cleaned all of it up. but he had to pay. They sued him. It was a lawsuit,
Okay.
right? They sued him. It was a lawsuit. All of that. So, um, that was an eye opener for everybody. It was an eye opener for everybody. Your past will come back to bite you with these women. I do want men to protect their seed more and start valuing their wood.
Oof.
Like, I'm not a big proponent of uh, masturbation, but dogs, sometimes that's better than going to sleep with a Jezebel and
I see that.
waking up 2 3 days later fighting a charge or
Yeah.
with an accusation. It's way better. It's way better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
It's
mean, I don't
way
like it, but I respect it because it's accurate. It's real. Uh, the most whoever can. So you and I both know this, or you actually, I don't know. I'm going to speak for myself, and I'll say this: I only have sex when I want to have sex. I am not led by sex. If a girl proposes sex towards me, I don't care if she's exactly my type. She's, let's say I have a crush. I don't know what a crush is. I don't have a crush at this age. But anyway, let's say it's my crush, ideal situation. She's like, all right, let's have sex. I'm like, no. If I don't want to have sex, I'm not going to have it. Even if I'm in a relationship. So, like, my girl knows like, I only have sex when I want to have sex. Like, when she wants, she can ask all the time, and I'll say, no, all right. Most guys don't have that. And if you don't have that, you're not going to have a healthy relationship because as soon as things aren't going the way that she wants, she knows that you're obsessed about sex, that all she has to do is leverage that and not give it to you. Kind of like that is it the Greek play or was it a Roman play? I don't know. But anyway, Lysatra, I forget what it's called. Chirac was the movie that one of the movies that they made by. But essentially, women withhold sex to leverage that power because they know that you're consumed by it, you're obsessed by it.
Yeah, so they do that a lot, and we
But it's
and
only possible because guys let them, because they
yeah,
actually
men,
follow their
men
dick instead of their head.
yeah, men let them like so, and it's so weird because if you actually care about yourself, that's who they want to give it to when you're not pressed. I always give that little tidbit to men. I have a special little um, text message that I tell men to send, and it's always like uh it's always 100% hit with every man I give it to him. I said send her this, and boom, and but it's basically saying I'm not pressed for that pussy. Basically,
Good.
I don't even know if I. In other words, I don't even know if I like you yet. So let's just, you know. But once
Exactly.
you But once you get a woman to believe that you're not pressing all that, then you good to go, bro. It's always like that. But neither here nor there, we still have to watch what we do. And that is going to be a good battle. It is the worst battle for men who some of us are just, we're easily accessible to sex, right? So we
Yeah.
can get sex easy. And I could wake up one week thirsty as hell and round up a couple chicks and knock them all down, right?
Yeah.
And do it right. Use safe sex and don't do, just that the third, but you still have that proponent of the social, the social accusations versus and the legal accusations because you don't know these women will turn on you like a pit bull, will flip on you. You get what I'm saying? So you have to
Oh, I know.
dealing with American women are like dealing with wild tigers. It's just they're so beautiful. You want to pet them and play with them and take them home, but you take them home, they might bite your ass, eat you alive before you know
Yeah,
it. So once you get you a nice woman, hey, you treat her nice. You make sure you don't put her. Take your time. I want to tell the men to take their time. Don't give them too much too early. Don't give them too much access. Still have a level of mystery to yourself.
we could all use those.
Still let that woman know you need your space and you can't give her all the undivided attention in the world. And that's where a lot of men mess up because now you feed into the narcissistic ways of the woman when you do all that. You
It
get what
really
I'm
is that simple. Life is just that simple. Again, one of the reasons why I don't want to talk about how people with their dating life is simply because it is the simplest thing to address. It takes all of 25 days to become a better, I don't know, boyfriend or girlfriend, or a better person that attracts the people you actually want to be with.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
we
funny
all
that people even stress over it for a lifetime.
yeah, they stress over it for a lifetime. I heard this man say he doesn't respect the man who is not married. That was some of the most beta male simp shit I ever heard. And he's faithful to the woman. He said the hardest thing for a man to do is be faithful to a woman. And
Hmm.
I just was so offended by that
Okay.
because I would argue him backing down. Because when you really had this ego thing really down pat, right? And some women, like I always say, if she's worth the monogamy, then it's not no problem to
Mm.
me. But guess what? I have been single and haven't been sleeping with a bunch of women or no women at all before. Because I felt like no woman deserved my energy like that. No woman deserved my sexual energy like that. You didn't put in enough work or enough time. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that's hard at all. You get what I'm saying? Is it easy? I don't think it's easy, but it's not hard. It's just
Right.
not our natural state because men are naturally polyamorous. And truth be told, most women are not worth monogamy, if we're gonna be honest.
In 2023 in the Western world, absolutely not. The reason why people think it's
Absolutely
hard,
the fuck not.
exactly. The reason they think it's hard has everything to do with their health. These are guys that are working out. These guys aren't the least bit ambitious. So their idea of life is I worked really hard. I did 8 hours at the shift, maybe 12 hours at the shift. When I come home, all I want to do is relax and be with my girl. Like, that's not a relationship. No girl is interested in that long term. Now, don't get me wrong. She may do it for a season. She may do it for the payday with the divorce settlement. She may do it because she has no job and she needs a place to live. But she's not trying to do that for a long
Oh,
term job.
trust me, I know. They're
But
not
most
trying.
guys don't realize that, and they think life is about taking a break and relaxing. And as a man, you don't get that opportunity. Don't get me wrong; you can enjoy yourself, have a good time, have adventures, travel, do all the things that you want to do, but it's all work to even get those opportunities, and you're doing it simultaneously while you're having a full work experience. So when I'm done with work, my day is kind of really just beginning. Because now it's like, all right, what am I going to do with my girl? What am I going to do with my friends? What am I going
Right.
to do with my family?
So
That's for
that's
me, that's when the real work begins. When my work life is actually easier. It's everything else that kind of is an extra
I
set
could
of gears that I got to pull.
yeah, so I look at it like that too. I just your girl gotta be on your like I said, she gotta be on your game plan. You gotta put her on the game plan. Everything and you gotta put that dream set. You gotta put a you gotta give her attainable goals. You gotta say, hey, you gotta make your dream also a dream of hers. but y'all ain't ready for that. I need to go ahead and charge people for that one. That's some of that ism right there. That's some of that
Yeah,
ism. And that's where a lot of us men mess up because we don't stay in that girl ear about what daddy needs done. You get what I'm saying?
oh,
Not
I
saying you
get
got to
it.
put that girl on the script or make her sell her body or anything, but she needs to be out there working for daddy. And if she can't work, we're gonna find somebody who can.
Simple as that. Simple as that. That might be a
Yeah,
good place as any to wrap up.
yeah,
We're
man.
definitely going
But
to be here again for another episode. This is cool. Any last thoughts, comments before we close it?
Ned, I'm going to work on getting the StreamYard this weekend. Get the website back up, my StreamYard, all of that.
Dope.
It's
Yeah,
about that time, man. It's about that time.
exactly. We got to get back to it. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. We will catch up tomorrow. We'll do another episode and looking forward to it because we're going to introduce a new person to the show that I want the audience to know, someone that's been dope in our life, and I'm sure he'll add a lot of value to the show. Looking forward to it.
All right, peace out, man.
Peace.